Well, it was a fight, but I got it running, sort of, maybe. I'm still fooling with the carburetor because it's like all over the place. This is a vacuum operated fuel pump, which probably has 0 pounds of pressure going to the needle. And of course, I put an electric fuel pump on it, which is only a 4 pound fuel pump. But apparently the carburetor's still puking a little fuel, like the needle isn't seating. So I think I'm gonna get me a regulator and back it off to like 1 pound and see how that works. But let me give you a look see. You can see she's still smoking, and it's been about 10 minutes now since I've shut it off, and the shop is still all foggy. But what we have, and I didn't run it long enough to get her too hot because I can still touch everything, so we're good. I just had it running just long enough to maybe make an adjustment on the carburetor. And one thing about it, it's easy to, this is the floats, and it's easy to get it apart. But when I first tried this, turned the fuel pump on, I guess it wasn't seating because it's got a weird setup here. But it's easy to get off and on. But it was squirting fuel from here all the way over to here. So I lapped the seat in, the needle, which is right here, lapped that into the base where it seals, and that took care of my leak here. But I haven't stopped it from puking out of the throat of the carburetor. It drips, like drip, 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 like that. And I have lowered the float quite a bit to see if the fuel level was too high. And I don't think I've cured that. And of course, it takes nothing to flood this engine. You pull the choke lever up here, and it'll suck all the fuel right out of that carburetor, like immediately. So you really got to be delicate with the choke on this. It's sensitive, real sensitive. So I have found, maybe after I get it all running, I'll be a little more familiar with the choke, and I won't have so much headache. But time will tell. I'm still working the bugs out of it, but the engine seems to run smooth enough. It doesn't have any misses or knocks, and it has about 35 pounds of oil pressure, which is probably not bad for this. And all I did on the spark plugs were sandblast them, and because they were cruddy, and 100 years old. But so probably, and the points, I haven't found a set of points for it yet. I'm sure they're out there, but I got to find them. All I've done is file and clean the points. And I did put another coil on it. This is a flame coil, what they call a flame hot, something like that. But it's a 6-volt coil. So that should bite through any of the oil I'm trying to run in this thing that gets on the plugs. Because this thing did have some blow-by. I did notice that. It wasn't as bad as I thought. It was coming out of the filler tube. The starter's giving me a little bit of a fit. Apparently it has a flat place in it. It'll work, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work, and you got to move it a little bit, then it works fine. So I'm going to have to address that. So one thing at a time, I guess. So I'm not sure what else to do here. I guess I'm just going to keep tinkering with it. I'm hoping to get my belt for this tomorrow so I can put the front back on, and then get my grill and everything back on so it looks like a car, so I can move on. And right now I'm working with a hot wire. This is going straight to the coil because I haven't taken this switch out yet. So that's probably what I'll do tomorrow. Let's pull that switch out. Oh, temperature gauge works. Moved up to 170 degrees. Well, that's pretty good. So, there's no water in it, so I hope this, well, that might have burnt some of the junk off of it. Yeah, she's not, yeah, I can touch it. So, yeah, it's just hot. But we're fine. Yeah, I mean, it needed a little bit of running anyway. All right, so this is where we're at. And I got enough gas over there that ran out of the carburetor because every time I turn around, gas is running out. So I went over, wiped it up, wiped the floor up, threw the rags outside in the front of the garage and get all the gas out of here. But it wasn't when the fuel pump was on, because I have a fuel pump switch way up under here so you can't see it. And while it was running, it was not leaking. And the choke was completely off, and it seemed to be running okay. So I don't know what that means. But, as far as I thought maybe if it was running and then the fuel pump on, it would continue to drip. But it didn't. So, but then again, I didn't run it long enough to really tell much. But I guess tomorrow, since I'm having starter issues, and I don't know what I'm going to do about that yet, I guess I'm going to go ahead and work on something else until I get the starter squared away, because I sure ain't going to hand crank this thing. And I guess, yeah, that's about it. There's the fuel pump right there. So I guess that's what we're going to do. I'll work on the exhaust leak I got over here, get that switch out up there, and get my front end back on. And then I guess I'll continue to tinker with the starting issue and see if I can figure out exactly what it's going to take to make this thing start easy, because it shouldn't be hard to start. So, I got to learn how to start it properly. So I guess that's where we are. Doesn't squeak or make any noises. All that stuff went away. So I guess it just needs to be ran. All right. So you've had a look-see. So until I set fire to my shop or something else that's really interesting, because I thought I was going to die in here with all the smoke and oil that it was burning off of this thing, because it was nasty. I mean, I had to go back here and open the door to get a draft going through here. You could cut it with a knife. It was so thick, and it smelled terrible. All right, guys. So I'll see you all later. This is short, but bye until tomorrow or something. All right, later, guys.